Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Real Hazardous. Today we're out here in the little boat doing some inshore fishing, hopefully for some flounder, stuff like that. So stay tuned, guys. So we're starting to transition into fall and starting to get a good time for flounder. We're getting excited. There's a flounder tournament we want to fish this year, and about mid-October. It's called the Flounder Pounder. It supports a school for autism here locally, and my dad really likes flounder. He's really good at it. So we're out here today going to practice on our last trip on the big boat. Unfortunately, we spun both props, so those props are getting fixed, repacked, I guess, however they do it. And we're in the little boat. Thankfully, we're gonna just play around in that in the river, hopefully practice on some flounder and see what happens. Thanks. Flounder have a very unique bite. It's not like other fish to me. It's kind of like a thud when they hit. So think about how flounder feed. They're not cruising the water column. They don't come up and strike a bait. They're laying on the bottom, of the ocean floor, the sand in the river, and waiting for a bait to come by because they're camouflaged, they're stealthy. A bait comes by and they pounce on it. So when you're fishing for flounder, first off, you want to have your bait on the bottom. So we're working our baits, just moving it along the bottom. And then when the fish hits, sometimes they don't run. It's not like, trout that comes up and hits your lure as you're pulling it through. They may grab it and sit there, which might be the thud you feel. I've had times where we've had a rod out and it's time to go and we start reeling it up, and also, oh wow, there's fish on, and you pull a flounder. Who knows how long he had that bait. So keep that in mind. It is a little bit different. When that fish hits, when he swallows it, then you want to set the hook if you're using a J hook or a Kale hook.
I think it might have been a crab, but we will see. It's something's got that bait pounded up right there next to the rocks, between the shore and the rocks. Can't really flounder or mangroves or what. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I like to hit the bait through the back. Through the bait, get a little more action.
Mm-hmm. I think something mouthed this one.
Oh yeah. That's a flounder. That's a mangrove. He chews it up.
Yeah.
Might be about the same spot. Did you feel him?
Yeah, it kind of felt like a little thud. Flounder seem to like broken structure, rocky structure. From my time of diving, they like the broken structure, culverts, sand with structure in between, or sand where there's structure and then get nearby. So in the middle of the random river where it's just sandy, a spot we may go for bull redfish probably doesn't have flounder. But along some rocks close by where it transitions to sand, sandbanks by docks a lot of times, where they can pounce on feeding bait, those are all good spots for flounder. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so.
He's not happy either, is he? These guys do not like to be grabbed, do they?
Any pliers. Pretty good. Did he bite right under the boat, or?
Yeah. Probably like 16. Easily keeper, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right up under the boat.
Were you moving it any, or was it just sitting there?
Well, I had let it sit there and I didn't notice it. Like he was chasing the bait, maybe.
Yeah. Here's a diagram of our rig that we use for flounder. Pretty basic. KL or J hook. Little shot of a leader, maybe 20, 30 pounds, depending on what you're going for. You can go even a little less. A little swivel, and then a weight that can slide. I try not to do too long of a leader. My dad pointed out that since you're fishing for these fish on the bottom, and sometimes we're using live bait, if you give them too much leader, they can swim up high, they can get away, they can be hard for the flounder to get. So a shorter leader actually keeps them more under control, makes it easier for the flounder to catch that live bait.
These mullet are starting to get to be about the right size. I like them about maybe twice this size, which in about 3 or 4 weeks they grow fast. Yeah, so this is a little ledge right here where I'm at. So I'm working a little on that ledge. And I could tell my mullet was getting nervous. I just kept playing it and I felt the bump. I waited for a second, and then as I lifted it up, I could feel the tension on it. And I feel it was...
So you're saying it was just sitting there and then you started working it, or were you working it like...
Well, I'd been working and I let it sit there for a minute and I could tell the mullet was getting nervous, and then I started working it again.
And when you say working, are you like slowly reeling or just bumping it up forward and sit, bumping it and sit?
Yeah, bumping and sit. Just slowly working like that. When them flounder hit, you'll feel like it. Sometimes it'll be a solid thud, sometimes they'll just lay on it. Now you feel a little bit of tension on that.
How do you set the hook with the KL hooks?
Just give them a second and then just
Jerk it hard?
Yeah, set it hard. It's about totally opposite from a circle hook.
Is it different than a J hook?
About the same as a J hook. I like the circle or the KL hook because it got that loop in it, and it seems like it holds on better. The J hooks just seem like they spit them easier. I see right there. One messing with it right now. Another guy too. See it too.
Yeah.
That was not a flounder. That was a mangrove. See that bump, 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 bump.
Because he was bumping it a lot more.
Yeah. You know why they call them snapper? Because they snap at their baits. And that's what you can see them doing. That bump, 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 bump. So what they do is they're just slowly eating that bait down there. Sometimes when the snapper get up there, it's hard to get up. Well, that probably didn't help me either, did it?
Yeah, a little out of whack.
Oh, feel better? Still a little out of whack.
It wasn't a real hot bite today. We moved around to a couple different spots trying to find different fish. Besides flounder, we were also catching some mangrove snapper. You can catch mangrove snapper way offshore, you can catch them down in the Keys, and there are a lot of them in the river too. It's a fun fish to catch, different style than flounder usually. If I'm specifically targeting mangrove, I would have like some shrimp and maybe something I can keep higher in the water column, kind of drift it back to them and let them hit that, because snapper will come up to the surface. It's kind of neat. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro. At first I thought they were
Bring the little ones up out there. That's a baby mangrove. The hook's about as big as he is.
In the Florida Keys, we like to catch a lot of mangrove. You can do that. We're up here in North Florida, and there's also mangrove here in the river, and there's some really big mangrove good ways offshore, but you can definitely catch some keeper mangrove in the river as well. Different tactics in the Keys, you know, we chum them up like yellowtail, and you would do that probably offshore here too for the most part, but in the river we're just kind of using a slip sinker rig, a little weight, swivel, leader, and then a hook. My dad likes using KL hooks, so we're using some of those today. I think they also call them a live bait hook to go with the little mullet that we've caught. I don't know if you can see it over there. It's hard to tell. It looked like seashells at first, shells along the bank. So then I noticed that they were moving. I realized, oh, those are crabs. So kind kind of cool to see the crabs and find them. If you need fiddler crabs, those are great for sheep's head. So not quite the main time of year for those for us. We got several months before that, but sometimes sheep's heads are hard to find, so it's kind of neat to see them up all on the bank like that. Pretty old school, just anchor. We don't have a spot lock or rodan or anything like that, so just put the anchor out. Currents kind of shifting. We're pointing straight that way, and now we're kind of swirling around.
You took too much. That's pull on there to be.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the flounder won't run with it. But usually, if you feel a hard thud and he starts easing off, it's usually a big flounder.
Yeah, need the net.
Got the same as the other one, it's much smaller.
Maybe it's much smaller, but I think it should be a keeper.
Still be a 14er. I don't think he could have got off even if he wanted to, could he?
Yeah. 15, 14 and a half.
Yeah. We're almost at Operation Supper time, aren't we?
Yeah. Dang. I don't know what hit it. It took the whole thing. Yeah.
Wait, more.
Yeah.
Bigger than the last one, though, huh? Was it a dual mullet on that one?
Double mullet on one hook.
Yeah.
Are you pulling him back too, or is he sitting there?
No, I was pulling him. He kind of laid on it at first, so I thought it might have been a grab. So when I pulled it, then he kind of scooted a little bit. Oh, there you go.
Mangrove.
Oh yeah, bigger than the one I had. Mine was 10. You with us one now?
Hit pretty good right by those rocks.
And Doc's caught that big one up there.
Yeah.
How far out were you on that one?
Pretty good ways. I just casted it out. Is that to the left of the rocks?
Yeah, we're almost right the point.
Okay.
To the left on yours.
Yeah.
Probably about 9 inches right there.
I'm catching some flounder kind of that way and right down. So we moved around, tried a couple different spots. We're out here on another kind of area where there's like a flat and it drops down. There's rocks along the side, and we're kind of fishing this area for the sorry. And we're kind of fishing this area for the flounder. From diving and seeing flounder, I've seen them around good broken rock structure or deteriorated like tugs, you know, artificial wrecks, and they'll be like in the sand portion. So, you know, kind of like it when there's this area with rocks and sand, and I feel like it's a good environment for them. This area my dad fishes a lot, and we know it's good for flounder. So we're gonna give it a try and see what happens.
Redfish with no spots, huh? I think that's the first spotless redfish I ever caught. Let's see what it measures in at. I'm at 19 now. The slot one, huh?
Caught a nice slot redfish, which is first redfish, slot redfish I've seen caught in a while. Lately we've been catching the big bull reds, so been, you know, all catch and release. So it's kind of neat to get one a slot size a keeper, because they are pretty good to eat when you can get them slot size. So we got a good little variety now. Redfish, flounder, mangrove snapper. Let's see what else happens, but we got a good mess for eating, so that's nice. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. We had a great time today. Caught a good variety of fish, redfish, flounder, some mangrove, and got to try out some new spots, get a little practice, and warm up for the upcoming flounder season. If you guys have any questions about inshore fishing or any tips you have, feel free to comment below and share them. And we'll see you next time on Real Hazardous.